So what have you guys gone down for notes for this project?
I've done a little bit, and Julio said he's the researcher.
Where is Julio actually?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've done like most of my notes. I just need a few more. What have you done, Caesar?
Well, I think I've done enough. Like, I know about how the Neolithic Revolution was the origin of farming. It really started when humans started to domesticate plants and animals. Some historians think animal domestication came first than plant domestication. Without training the animals to protect the food and to hunt, it would have been difficult to leave the plants without anyone else taking care of them.
I think he's showing off how he finally did work. I don't like it.
Herds that actually started farming, they were using subsistence farming.
Question: what is subsistence farming?
Great question. Subsistence farming is when the farmers eat what they grow by using the simple tools that they have. All right, back to the herds. Herds eventually started trading with each other.
Do you even know where Hertz started?
Yeah, sure, interrupt me again. All right, so there was this geographer from the 20th century named Carl Sawyer. Sawyer argued that the first herds were on the edge of forests because they were located in places with high diversity. Did that answer your question? Yes? Thanks. People in different herds eventually started to trade with each other. They started to trade crops and inventions that they made. Major herds led to the first urban centers. Then, those urban centers eventually led to civilizations. Societies grew, and this paved the way to let people develop new occupations and technologies.
How long is it gonna go on for? I just asked what he's done, not a whole lecture on it.
Over thousands of years, agriculture spread around the world and increased trade. That's how plants were spread around the world. One plant can originate in Africa and be farmed in Mexico. As humans, we try to alter natural environment. We've done terrace farming, irrigation, and deforestation.
Could you specifically explain what each of those terms are and how they impacted us?
Of course I can. Terrace farming was made by farmers to help them farm on the side of the hills. They'd put steps on the side of the hill. With flat surfaces, it'd make it easier to plant. The land collected rainfall rather than the rain running down the sloped hillside. If the terrace wasn't maintained, there could be a heavy rainfall that can cause disastrous and deadly mudslides.
Wow, okay, you're actually explaining it.
The next alteration is irrigation. That's when you redirect water from its natural course. This helps the production of crops. Irrigation has helped increase the standards of living for us. With all of these positives, there are negatives though. Irrigation can disrupt national drainage and it can reduce the normal regeneration of soil caused by natural flooding.
How can you talk for this long?
The last alteration is deforestation. That's when you remove large parts of a forest. The farmers cut down these trees to make land to plant crops. Cutting down all those trees can cause local problems like soil erosion and desertification.
What's this?
I knew you'd interrupt, so let me fill you in. Desertification is when you make fertile land go to a desert land type.
Are you finally done or is there more?
I'm pretty sure I've covered all of my notes.
So about the notes.
I've already finished mine, so no worries.
I'm not going to go into a long lecture like I did with random pictures popping up.
The second agricultural revolution began in the 1700s.
Yeah, sure, of course. Go ahead.
This revolution used advances from the Industrial Revolution to support the population growth and increase the food supply. Both of the revolutions took advantage of the mechanizations of agriculture production, faster traveling, and development of large-scale irrigation. Farmers were more proficient with agriculture because they grew their knowledge on fertilizers and soils.
What's happening right now? Where are these pictures coming from?
You missed out on the last time.
With better technology during the 19th century through the earlier half of the 20th century, life expectancy was increased and a growth in the population. With more population, people started to head to urban places to look for agriculture jobs.
What is going on here? I'm scared. I want to go home.
Innovations of mechanized harvesting greatly increased the food production. There were tools like the iron plow, seed drilling, McCormick reaper, a grain elevator, some barbed wire, and mixtures of nitrogen and nitric acid fertilizer. There were less but bigger and more efficient working farms thanks to the second revolution. This caused the downsiding of farm owners and workers.
So are you done or is there more?
Please be done.
Let me finish with this. The outcome of this revolution was to grow the number of people that can be supported by the farms.
She copied me.
Have both of you finished your parts?
I finished my part.
Please don't go into another lecture about this. BNA just asked you a simple question. There's no need to drag it out.
Of course I'm not. I'm not gonna do a dumb thing like Vinny did.
Right. It was weird when BNA did it.
The Green Revolution started on the second half of the 20th century and is still going on.
Why?
The Green Revolution uses extensive mechanizations, heavy reliance on irrigation, which Caesar has talked about, chemical applications, and biotechnology. This corresponds with how fast the population was growing across the world.
This has become an issue now. How will we have normal conversations when every time someone asks a little question, we go off on a rant?
This era involved an increase in chemical fertilization. A big part of which made the Green Revolution possible is fertilizer. Without fertilizer, the crops during these times would not grow. The plants grown during this time are specifically bred to react with fertilizers and to be produced at a sped up time.
I've embraced it.
There has been new irrigation systems built that have increased crop yield.
What are crop yields?
Crop yields are a measurement of the amount of agricultural production harvested per unit of land area. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks.
There have been new machines made to help us out with agriculture, those being tractors and crop dusters. We already know these machines are common for us, but back then they were gigantic and new. The use of new machinery is able to increase food productivity. A bad thing about this is that these machines are taking jobs from people as the owners don't have to pay the machines.
Why'd you stop?
I thought someone was going to ask a question or interrupt me.
I wasn't, if that's what you were expecting.
Then let's continue, shall we? Do you know what GMO is?
No.
Of course you don't. GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. GMOs began to be widely used during the 70s. They were made to increase crop yields and to resist diseases or chemicals used to kill weeds. Some people are vigilant towards GMOs, as there are problems that have not been studied or looked at.
This is just normal now, even the random photos.
Ever since the Green Revolution began, a large amount of economies in the world have increased and their agriculture has become better. Sadly, this made things worse for Africa. The revolution has made us take food for granted as we overproduce foods now.
Good stuff, man. My turn.
You know that you're going to start talking to you.
Ask what? During the future of agriculture, we will need to solve some issues. Those issues being deforestation, water contamination, pesticides, food waste, overproduction of crops, overpopulation, and animal abuse.
Damn, animal abuse? That's harsh.
Wow, really? Who would have thought? The good thing about the future of agriculture is that we have new inventions. A new invention that will help your case of animal abuse is clean meat. Clean meat is genetically grown cells from an animal. Instead of killing an animal for its meat, we can grow it out of their cells. This is a great invention, as we will not need to waste a large amount of water for meat. Another future invention will be agriculture bots, or agbots for short. These machines will replace humans in picking fruit and vegetables.
That sounds like a good idea, but can't that kick humans or immigrants that work in those type of jobs out of the job?
Finally, a question. Yes, the agbots can do that since they can work 24/7 and they won't need to be paid. Another invention will be vertical farming. Vertical farming is exactly what it sounds like. This will be farming in a vertical building, and this will help with space issues. There will be problems in the future that if we cannot solve, it can hurt the economy and destroy the environment. We need to save the earth as it is our home. And we live and breathe here. We have to reduce the number of times we use pesticides and improve water treatment plants. If we don't fix these problems, there will be major consequences.
What have I started?
Now, that's my lecture. Wait, where did you guys go?